hours of attorney time. I'd like to see you very well paid for the work you did. Here's $500 an hour, which is a nice fee in Dallas, Texas. And so therefore, 15 times 5, what do we got there? 5, that would be, where is that? 7,500. Wait a minute. I'm going to hit stop here. Yeah, I think I had my math wrong before. So let's get this. Let's say instead of 15, let's square it to 20. So the expert that we hired looks at it, says there's 20 hours. We're going to give you, Mr. Attorney, $500 an hour. And therefore, we are going to give you a whopping $10,000 for your services. Plus, we're going to give you, willing to offer you another $5,000 for your expenses, such as filing fee, which was $400, messengers to get it to the court. They didn't have messengers anymore. They now file everything electronically. But all right, you're just showing them that you're not being cheap. So you're going to give him $10,000 for his services, another $5,000 to cover his expenses, his beautiful office, the time on making phone calls. Well, that might have been included in the attorney time. And I'm guessing there weren't too many phone calls to you anyway. Maybe there were. Okay, so now we've got your attorney getting an offer from you of $15,000. We're going to get the medical liens down to $50,000. So now you're talking about $65,000 being taken out of your $300,000 recovery. And now we have going into your pocket $235,000. How would you feel about that? Well, that's the end of today's session. I think if you feel the way I'd feel, and this can be done. This can be done. And the truth of the matter is I'm starting work on it now. What I'm going to be looking for is one of the top experts in the field of liens, negotiating liens. Mine's going to be from out here in California because that's where I have all of my information about who is the best and who wrote the book on negotiating medical liens and who wrote the book on negotiating attorney fee liens and who wrote the book on what an attorney can charge for and what an attorney can't. I mean, I need somebody. Not all attorneys know that the records that are kept contemporaneously, where the attorney fills out a form on the computer or in longhand as he does the work, saying, okay, I just spent 54 minutes on GF's case, that carries much more weight before an arbitrator or a court then does one where now that the case is over, he goes back and looks at the paperwork and says, oh, I probably spent an hour on this. I think I spent 4 hours on that. Oh, yeah, that's a bear. That kind of reconstruction after the work is all done carries very, very little weight with the court. So I'm going to be looking for people who know that stuff inside and out. And I'm going to see if we had a group, like 10 of us, that are in that position, that we have offers on the table that we can't accept because the attorney's fees are eating just up too much of the percentage of it. Well, maybe if we get together and somebody helps us and speaks to these attorneys for us and explains to them the wisdom of reducing their fee, seeing as how they did absolutely nothing then other than just bare clerk work, then maybe they can make somebody with helping us a little bit could turn these cases that right now are not anywhere near being able to be solved, could turn us into a real nice settlement for maybe 10 or 20 of us. I think that can be done. I don't know. I'm exploring it. I'm not saying I can do it or we can do it, but it's just something I'm looking into right now to see if there's somebody who would be willing to put a desk in their office and call that desk the Depuy Pinnacle victims and say they're going to help us negotiate these settlements from Depuy to where they can make it work for us by having the lien holders. And by lien holders, I mean if you got an advance even, maybe. Your attorney, his fee. The medical bills. Let's get in there and see if somebody knows a way that they could get those squashed down to where these offers that are currently on the table become something we can live with. Anyway, I want to thank you for listening today. And I'm going to try to have this out Monday night, but there were a few mistakes. So if it's not out till Tuesday, I'm sorry. And remember, the email address here is hiplitigation@gmail.com. If you have any comments, corrections, or if you have an opinion you'd like us to read on the air, we will do it, but we will not read your name. Or we'll disguise it, one of the two. And thank you for listening. If you could hit down there the little like button or thumbs up button, we'd certainly appreciate it. And if you'd like to contribute to our Patreon page, we don't have a Patreon page because we don't want your contributions, but thank you anyway. And yes, I am still working on getting this ace surgeon who did my surgery up on the show for either late this month or early December. And also, if possible, we could get one of the 5 attorneys who actually spent time in court. Now, I got to tell you something. If my attorney were one of the ones who spent time in court, I would not be looking to cut their fee down. I just wouldn't. If my attorney were one of the 5 and I was one of those winners who got $50 million or $100 million, and I realized they were cut back later, I would just thank my attorney and never, ever looked for him or her to cut their fee more than $1. Not at all. All right. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. And be careful.